Hello, welcome back. I will continue to speak about the book King Paimon, and I would like to speak more about the book or about Paimon in general. It's almost like it has been, as I've said, with every book that I have written, in some way or not, experience or revelation or inspiration or a dream or a vision. So there is this part now that it's almost say, well, the inspiration is from above, the inspiration is from a higher divine purpose, no? So in general, writing books, it's almost like nowadays we have simplified things, and it's always a search, what a word means, or what activity means, or what is the true meaning behind something. And we have talked about the mirrors, no? So it's almost like one can work with the mirrors to find out an answer. Things don't have to be always straight, no? It doesn't mean the answer is a straight arrow, yes or no. There is always, as I've said, a deeper meaning. And once you go into a meditative state, as a meditation, in the moment that you wish to, remember something or find an answer, there are different ways that one can almost say, well, I'm talking now and I'm thinking of something, there is this always aspect of being able now to do an activity as pain, for example, and I'm able to listen or to think of something. So, even when writing of the book, there's always this, one way or another, this meditative state, which is a very beautiful state. I think that's why writers understand almost, when you hear writers talk about what it means to be a writer, there's always a very beautiful meaning to it, of course. I have watched many videos about or listened, different things about different writers, writers that I love, writers that I know about, and in general, I like to read about the biography. I like biographical things, sometimes a book, or sometimes I search for different information about the writer, and they all carry, a certain story. And when we think about that story, we always try to understand how things go through life and why something happened at a certain time, and almost one can understand the thread. That's why biographies are so interesting. At the same time, there are very different genres, of course, in writing. There is the freedom of the painter, there is the freedom of the writer, the artist. And writing, it's a very old activity that humans have. So it's almost like it is an elevated art form, okay? Writing, it is an elevated art form. There's always a discussion what is more elevated, painting or art in general, or writing, well, or even theories where they say, well, writing is not necessarily art. But I like to say that, well, I believe that art is a higher form than painting. And it is similar to painting in many ways, of course, but writing is not to say that they're very different, but they are, from the material, from the time, as I've said, and because I think it is a very old writing. It's like humans have, the same time as well with painting. It's quite similar, but I think humans have written more than painted. They are almost like more writers than painters, I think. There is always this idea, no? For example, if I think of my favorite writer, Anais Nin, it's almost like my name is inspired after her. She's like my famous, or she is a famous, she's like my favorite woman writer. And I know about her life, which is very interesting, no? I quite appreciate her journey. To be said, well, she is a French writer, and then she has traveled to America at a young age with her mother, no? And I think her brother, and then she has taught herself English, and very smart woman, and she has written books in English and became a famous writer. And she has written her 3 journals, and I read them many times. I really love her journals. And then I did read some of her novels, which are really very nice. And they deal a lot with the supernatural, or, you know, her novels are very much different than her journals. And I really love her writing and her persona as well. I have listened to different interviews with Anais Nin, and I really love to listen to her, and I really love interviews in general. And she was very sweet because she was French, and she was very beautiful and very smart, and she loved men, and she was really a great person, a great friend. And Anais Nin, she had a love story with the writer Henry Miller, and they're almost like soulmates, you know, all their life. They have worked together and supported each other. And she definitely has helped him write and have, you know, the success that he had financially and emotionally. It's almost like there's a love story between them, no? And her writings, I really love. It's almost like you can read a few lines of hers and already have such a beautiful vision or see something. It's really very nice, and at the same time very easy, very simple. And her journals are amazing. And once she was asked in the interview why she chose to write journals, and then she said, well, because most of the work is done to understand the work of an artist, and she wanted to spare them that work. No, she said, you know, she wanted to. I don't know. To be honest, she didn't really give an answer why. No, why are the journals? But I think she knew she's a very good writer. No, and I don't know. She maybe thought the journals are. She really cared about the journals a lot. Yeah, she speaks in the journals about it. You know, it's just it's something unique, I guess. I'm sure she had her reasons why, no? And not to forget, of course, she was French, so it's almost like she has a different sense of humor, no? She was known in America at that time, and she had success with her books, and she was able to print her books. I haven't read the work of Henry Miller, to be honest. I did see interviews with them both, and I really find them very funny both. He was really such a silly, funny boy. And I think almost like he seemed French for her, you know, his style and his, I don't know, Anais Nin really loved him. You can read that in her journals. There are 3 journals about, you know, her life in Paris and her life in America, which is quite interesting. Another writer I really love is Kafka, and I've been to Prague, and I really felt his. I've been in the museum in the area, and I visited quite a lot from Prague. I really loved it, and I really could feel the Kafka emotion in the air, you know, of the environment he lived, and I think he was a great writer. And of course, I love Dostoevsky. I have been to St. Petersburg, and I have visited the house or museum of Dostoevsky and a museum, and I really loved every piece I saw. I was very much impressed of what I saw, what I've learned about his life. Now there was almost in the museum exposition now, and very beautiful made about his life. Other writers that I like. Sometimes I like to read, I like Oscar Wilde, of course. I really love his persona, I really love his writings. He was so smart, so intelligent, and he had this sense of humor, the British sense of humor. He was very unique. And I have read a book about aphorisms, like little short sentences saying a truth in a funny manner, something like about the society he was living at the time. It was really very good humor, very, very sarcastic humor, but very intelligent, made very good points, like very funny. And I have done once a photography project. I was photographing different cemeteries in different parts, and I have visited Montmartre and the cemetery, and I have seen the tomb of Oscar Wilde, and it's very funny story because it's like a sphinx, no? And he has a lot of kisses on him, and a lot of women, a lot of people love Oscar Wilde. And what other writers I like? I read Simone de Beauvoir. I do like women writers. I read her biography, and I know about her life, and I read about her work. It's very, very impressive. And then I read about different women, scientific women, in the scientific field. And in writers, I like Emerson from the American philosophy. I really love him. He speaks a lot about nature, and I think he was absolutely genius, brilliant. And I like many different painters. I like Modigliani. I love, to be honest, I love them all. I know a lot of things about art. I've studied art. I have learned a lot about art. I know a lot about many artists, many things from biography, from their work, from different parts. My favorites are Michelangelo. I love the Renaissance, and I love, the Raphaelites. I love so much. I love the Italian art. I love Puccini. I have been in Puccini's house in Italy. It was very beautiful. And I love his music as well. And from the artist, I love Van Gogh. He's my favorite artist. I really love Van Gogh. And I love Modigliani, I said. I love Salvador Dali. I find him brilliant. I find him so funny, so freeing. I love Salvador Dali. I love the Spanish artists. Yeah, and music too. I love music. I love different genre of music. I love flamenco. I love gypsy music. I love rap. I love hip hop. I love different genre. And from the paintings, to be honest, I don't like modern art as much. I like what type of paintings I like. I like Jean Basquiat. I like so much. Yeah, I really like him. I like his painting so much. And I'm sure there are others I like. I like, as I said, Salvador Dali. And from the, I love Carl Jung. I saw some interviews with him, and I found him absolutely amazing. I really love Carl Jung. And I've been in Freud's house as well, and of course, I find Freud amazing and absolutely genius, and he has almost like, of course, created something very unique. It was quite interesting, the story between them both, between Carl Jung and sorry, I forgot now. Yes, Carl Jung and Freud, no? And I like more Carl Jung. I don't know why, but of course Freud, very, very important man, no? And I love Freud too. And I don't know. I mean, I do like to read, as I've said, and I've read other books that I really love. I love novels. To be honest, it's like my favorite genre. Like stories. I like stories where there are humor too in it. One of my favorite books is Oblomov. I always forget the name of the artist, but I find it the most funniest book I ever read. I love it, Oblomov. I love Russian literature. And thinking about the painters, which one else I like a lot, no? I mean, of course I like all, but like what are my favorites? I like different, I've learned, different ones and the way they painted. Of course I got inspired too as well, but maybe are some even very old ones I've seen that I don't even know the name, no? That inspired me. I love Japanese too, and calligraphy, and I love stories like that. I like the Japanese culture, the Asian culture, I really love. And I like cartoons. I like Disney. I love cartoons. And movies, of course. I love movies. I love the modern technology. And other things I love cards. I love books, I think books are really nice, and I like big atlases or big nice collection books. Some books are really very nice. I've been in Italy, in Rome many times, and they have very nice libraries, and I always like to look there. It's so beautiful libraries they have. I've seen some very beautiful editions. And the point was almost to say, well, it's almost like when you think about the life of the artist, one can understand, the life of the person or the character, the talent, no? Almost to say the talent behind the mask. But they say the best masters carry their mask best. No, it's almost like it is not the mask, but it is a role, no? And I really love, for example, Modigliani. I really love. There's always an element of freedom that I really love. Something extremely unique. And that unique can come in different ways, almost like a painting that almost broke or brought something totally new, no? It's almost to say, well, we had paintings like that, and then Turner comes and makes this type of work, no? It's almost, there's always not to say, but almost like an outrage, no? There have been stories where in the exhibition a big artist exposed and no one liked it, or they were like disgusted by it, or, and then actually that was, it was like Salvador Dali or Picasso. I've read stories like that. And I like the avant-garde time, the surrealism. I love the avant-garde, and I think these were really good times. And there's been the French group Dada. I've studied about them at university, and I really like their form of art. And in photography, I like Bresson. I think Cartier-Bresson, if I'm not wrong. It's like a French photographer. He's like my favorite. And I think in general French and Americans are very good at photography, but like artistically I think the French, And I do love some Romanian writers, of course. I love Panaiti Strati. He wrote Chira Chiralina, it's a novel. There are different novels that I like. And I like a very old writer, Romanian writer, Brâncuș. Brâncoveanu. Brâncuș was a sculpture that I love. And there are like, different genre or different eras of like very good writers. Of course, one can choose their favorites, but there are, not to say there are many very good artists. Very famous one too that I like. And I like art. I like paintings. That's like one of the most things I like, to be honest. And I've said I like books. And it's quite nice to read or understand a little bit more about the artist or your favorite artist. As I've said, there are these very fun interviews with Salvador Dali. It's almost like it's very funny. He's Catalano, so it's almost like they speak their own language. It's not Spanish, so it's almost like a mix, So it's they're very proud, of course, Catalano. It's almost like, to be honest, it's called like pure blood. It's like old region, and he was from his own being like very eccentric. Okay, Salvador Dali is very eccentric. He lived his life. It's almost like he tells a story that his mother was pregnant with twins and his brother died. Almost he took the fault on him. Almost like say, because you died, I have to be the best. It's like his brother always was with him. His personality was very, he called himself in any way. He freed himself of everything. He will even call himself a charlatan. Like at the same time, he's very proud, and he is an aristocrat. He is Salvador Dali, and absolute genius. And he went to America, and he was in this interview, and he doesn't speak very good English, and plus, he has this accent, and his ideas are very, very artistic. Let's put it like that. But I totally love his genius. Absolutely authentic, He's a true gentleman. And there in America, they were like laughing on him. They really didn't understand, And so they, of course, it's always, he shows even more who he is, though. It's so funny. And I really loved that interview. He's absolute genius. And then there's another interview from a game with Salvador Dali. And it was a very nice game. There were 4 guests, and they had to cover their eyes, and they entered the guest. They didn't know who this person is, and the person was allowed to speak and put questions, each one of them, to reveal who is the person, who they knew is somebody famous. And at every question they will ask about, Dali will always say yes. At one point, one of the people say, well, if you're dead, you're dead. Like, they were totally confused, and they understand who can do this and that, Are you right? So, yes. Are you pain? Yes. Are you? It was so funny. Yeah, I really love Salvador Dali, and of course his works. He's an absolute best artist ever. In beginning at university, when I discovered about him, I didn't like him. I thought he's too pompous. He tries too hard to impress or something like that. I don't know why. I found his works too much. And then in time, almost these interviews helped me, see the genius in him, and he's absolutely one of the highest. As I've said, I really love him now. And there was another video I've seen where he was living in Spain in his house, or Portugal, I don't know where. I think he had the best life. And he was very much in love with Dalia, his eternal wife. Dali was a hopeless romantic. I find that so sweet. And he really loved her. And they always like together, no? But I said he was very eccentric. He had his ways, you know. He's a very strict man, like I've said, aristocrat. And his works are really, no, they do speak about time, no? There's a lot of about dreams, about visions, about the supernatural, about the unconscious, subconscious, no? These thematics. At the same time, of course, he was eternally fascinated with the shape of the horn from rhinoceros. He was called a rhinoceros, the cone, the shape of it. He was fascinated with that. So his works, a lot about perspective, no, about time. There's a lot that one can study about Salvador Dali. And you know, he represents for me the element of the sea, of the connoisseur, no, almost like the eternal child, no. Salvador Dali lives more into the unconscious than in the reality. At the same time, he's part, you know, he knows who he is, and that stays his power, no. And he was a very talented artist. As I've said, I've seen some of his drawings, so beautiful. You can see the element of love, of romanticism, of detail, you know, almost like he was in love with this girl and he portrayed her, you know, like he took time for his work. He loved his work, you know, he loved his life, he loved his wife. He was like a good friend, he loved to talk, like a good man, Salvador Dali, a true artist. So there are many reasons why I appreciate him, and I, you know, honor him, of course. Salvador Dali, I love his name as well. Catalan from Spain, no? And I like very much the architecture, the Arabic architecture. I've been to Spain and I have seen the Alhambra, and it's very beautiful. I've seen very beautiful places in Spain, such beautiful castles and cathedrals and houses, and it's very beautiful. And I love the Romanic arch, the Ionic, the shape of even the shape of the temples, or these big entrances, and I say the arch, no, the columns and the arch. I think they are different. Ionic, I don't know. And I love the Roman and the Greek mythology as well. And my mother tongue is Romanian, so very close to Latin. I did have to give an exam at university here, and it was a very funny experience because it's a very similar language and I do understand, and I did learn and prepared, but the exam I had to translate from Latin to German, and both of the languages I didn't really know. And at one point in the exam, I was translating, I was using 3 dictionaries at the same time. Like a fight against time almost, and I managed to translate, and then in the end I realized I wrote the sentence like, and 3 of these people, I don't know, they were going on a horse or something, and I don't know, they ate some animal, and I thought, oh my god, I'm sure it doesn't mean that. I'm sure the teacher will laugh. What did I translate there? But it was like, that was the word in the dictionary. I have no idea. I never saw the paper again. And then I had the oral exam, and it was so nice. I really loved the teacher. I really loved the seminars. And at the exam, he was so impressed because, first of all, I was very nervous. I thought I'm going to fail it. And he was so nice, and he said, well, your mother tongue is Romanian, and he wanted to learn, and he was asking me verbs like rogare and this, and I will tell him, well, it's the same in Romanian, and he will get so excited, no? Like the languages, how similar they are, because they are very similar. Like rogare in Romanian, in Latin is rugare, so rugăciune is prayer, a te ruga is to pray, and or to ask, te rog is to ask, please, no? And rogare in Latin is to pray, the same meaning, or to ask something in a nice way. And or other words like, I don't know, he asked many words, to be honest. And then I was like, oh, that's what the exam was like a nice conversation, no? And I did pass the exam. I was so happy. He gave me a good grade. I passed with good grade, actually. Actually, I did very well. But at that time at exams, I always thought I did awful, but then it came out that I did well, or very well. I don't know why. I was always very scared about the exam, no? Because I knew it's not easy. And I had, like, of course, different presentations that I had to do, of course, for exams, no? Which, to be honest, is a little easier. And there are a lot of papers that one has to write. But it's like very good. I really enjoy the seminars. I enjoy to listen to the teacher, and I still wish, of course, I would love to be a university professor. I would love to do this work. I like to talk, and I like different thematics, no? And like the university prepares, in this way. It's very good, every exam you have. I had one exam which I was very scared of. I left it at the end, but I had to take it. It was a seminar, almost more important, with the boss of the university, and we had to talk about some articles that were supposed to be part of a book. And I started to make the presentation, and I was talking so fast, because when I'm nervous I talk very fast. I was so nervous, I swear on God, I was putting powder around my palms and my underarms not to sweat, and I was very prepared. And then I didn't realize I was talking so fast, and he was like, hey, like, stop, or something like that. He said, like, are you working for the news? I found it so funny. And then I had to, speak not so fast, because his mother tongue is not Romanian, but his Romanian was perfect, but I was really talking too fast. And there was another scene. We were all, there were a lot of people. Well, actually, it was not my seminar, but I had time, I had a break, and I didn't want to stay outside. I said I go inside. And I put it myself quite in the second row. And quite in the beginning of him talking, he asked somebody to close the window, and this guy goes and he smashes the window, and the professor says, "You're so stupid. You don't even look how it functions before you start to use force." I found it so funny, but it's a good lesson. He was the best teacher. That's the truth. And then suddenly, I don't know why, there were many people there, and he was starting his thematic, and then he asks me what semantic means. Oh my God. And I was like, I was too stunned to ever give an answer. I said something, but I was like totally not prepared. And after I was like angry at me, I said, well, I could have answered so well, like I knew the answer, but I didn't answer wrong, but I don't know. I just get so like, oh my God. And but I think he's a very good teacher. Of course, I did learn after what semantic means. And it's almost like I had actually a very nice answer for him. Semantic is almost to say, the seed of the word. from where the word comes, no? Sema, semilia, semința, Romanian, the seed. Sem is the same at the beginning, the first 2-3 letters from a word, the seed of the word, semantic, from where the word comes, no? So, and then I had a very interesting experience at university. A very famous writer, Mircea Cărtărescu, who is a very famous writer in Romania, even now more, and at that time too very much. And he came and he was our professor for 1 year. And he had very interesting thematics about avant-garde, different very nice subjects. He knew a lot about writers. It was absolutely amazing to listen to him. And to be honest, he didn't have, almost to be honest, I had a few times almost private lessons with him. We were always a small group, and sometimes some colleagues could not come. And then he would joke with me, the weather is so nice outside, no one wanted to stay in class. And I was there, of course. I loved to listen to his seminars and his knowledge, and I was so impressed. Absolutely loved. He's not a teacher in that way, but he's a writer, but he taught so well. It was such a pleasure to listen to him, and his knowledge is so vast. It definitely inspired me. And then we had a chance to go with the colleagues and him in the end for a drink, and we asked him how he is to be a writer, and somehow how is the process of writing, and we had like a very nice conversation about this thematic. And I did read some of his works, and I really absolutely think he's an absolutely amazing writer. And he taught us about avant-garde, different artists. His knowledge is not only Romanian, it's international. A very, very good writer, very good man, very absolutely almost like a prince of writing. I would call him absolutely gorgeous man, gorgeous person, gorgeous writer, very talented. And he took his work very seriously, like he's a serious writer. So yeah, I did, of course, get inspired, and have learned. It was like a very beautiful experience that I had. And it's almost like the role of different teachers in my life, and at university or in life in general. I do appreciate, of course, one learns many things from many people, and it is, of course, always great to learn from the masters or the best, to put ourselves, not to say lower, but in awe of their work, because that's the honest truth. Sometimes compliments always seem a little fake, but I don't think it's the case, and I do have many good stories, and to say that there's definitely truth. And of course, I've said I occupy a lot of my time writing, less than reading, and I do want to read more in the future as well. Thank you so much for listening. I'm going to end here because the time is already too long. I'm going to speak another time about our thematics and the book King Paimon and The Void and the Silence, or The Lord of the Abyss. As I've said, I do plan to read from the book, and I hope I can do it very soon. Thank you so much for listening. All the best. Bye.